CIET NCERT presents AudioBook, Maths Mela, Textbook of Mathematics for Grade 5.
Chapter number 11, Grandmother's Quilt. Page number 142. On the right side of the page, you are provided with a QR code, scanning which you can reach out to the additional resources to this chapter. Preeta and Adrit's grandmother made a quilt cover using old clothes. Now, she wants to decorate it with lace. Tick the lace portion that would cover the entire border of the quilt. In the picture, Preeta and Adrit are sitting along with their grandmother. Grandmother is stitching lace on the borders of the quilt cover. There is a picture of laces with their lengths given here. Red lace is of 40 units, green lace is of 50 units, blue lace is of 25 units. She decides to use two different colored laces. How much lace of each kind will be needed to cover the entire border? Recall that the length of the border of a shape is called its perimeter. Let us do. First one, find the perimeter of the following shapes. All sides of the following shapes are equal. We have a shape of a pentagon with each side 4 centimeters and another shape of two triangles with each side of 5 centimeters. Second, draw two rectangles each having the following perimeters: A 26 centimeters, B 18 centimeters. Page number 143. Preeta and Adrit's grandmother is making a rug with square patches. The picture here has a rug. How many patches have they used to make this? Here we have a picture of Preeta and Adrit. They both are sitting with their grandmother with a rug. Preeta and Adrit are trying to cover their table with different shapes. Preeta covers it with triangles and circles. Adrit covered with squares and rectangles. Here we have pictures of 4 table covers. The first one has triangles all over. The second one has circles. Third table has squares and fourth table has rectangles. They found that dash, comma dash and dash shapes cover the top of the table without gaps and overlaps. Dash shape leaves gaps. Dash triangles cover table 1. Dash squares cover table 3. Dash rectangles cover table 4. You are supposed to fill up these gaps with correct answers. The region covered by the triangle, squares or rectangles is called the area of the triangle. To find the area of a region, we usually fill it with shapes that tile like squares, rectangles and triangles, leaving no gaps and overlaps. Do circles tile? Can we use them to cover a region? The area of table 1 is dash triangle units. The area of table 3 is dash square units. The area of table 4 is dash rectangle units. Now, try to cover the top of your table without gaps and overlaps with the following objects of same size: A. Notebooks, B. Lunch boxes, C. Pencil boxes, D. Maths textbooks. Which of these objects covered the region completely? Page number 144. Let us do. Preeta is playing with tiles. She covers her desk with different shapes as given here. Observe the different tiles on her desk and answer how many of the following shapes will cover the desk. A. Green triangles dash. B. Red triangles dash. C. Blue squares dash. You are required to fill up the blanks provided here. We can find a 9 by 6 grid of square blocks in the picture here. One square block is covered with blue tile. One red tile is covering half of 3 by 3 square grid. One green triangle is covering half of one square grid. Comparing shapes. There is a picture of 3 different rectangles A, B and C. Rectangle A is yellow in color, rectangle B is pink in color and rectangle C is purple in color. All of them are of different sizes. Page number 145. Which of the given rectangles has the largest area? Trace these shapes onto a paper and cut them to find out the one that has the largest area. Do you notice that the area of rectangle A is larger than that of B? What about B and C? Which shape has a larger area among A and C? How will you find out? Let us put these rectangles on a square grid. Now, can you identify the rectangle that has the largest area? Using square grids is the most convenient way to find the area of regions. We say that the area of a square with sides 1 unit is 1 unit square. Here we have a picture of a square grid on which the 3 rectangles A, B and C are placed. 1 square unit represents 1 unit and area is equal to 1 square unit. Let us do. First question. Compare the areas of 2 gardens given here on the square grid. Share your observations. We have 2 gardens here, garden A and garden B. First garden is covering 5 rows and 2 columns and garden B is covering 3 rows and 4 columns. These are on the square grid represented here. Area of garden A is equal to dash centimeter square. Area of garden B is equal to dash centimeter square. Note for teachers. Tiles of several shapes like triangles, rectangles and squares can be used to measure the area of a region. We choose a square as a unit for measuring area as its sides are of equal length. Therefore, we can define the area of a unit square as 1 unit square. This allows us to measure area similar to that of measuring length. Page number 146. Question number 2. Trace your palm on the square grid given here and find the approximate area of your palm. Compare the area of your palm with your friend's palm. Who has a bigger palm? We are provided a picture of a square grid here for you to trace your palm. We are provided a picture of one square grid having side length 1 centimeter. Question number 3. Collect leaves of different kinds. Put them on a square grid and find their area. A. Name the leaf with the largest area. B. Name the leaf with the smallest area. Page number 147. Question number 4. The following mats are made of square patches of equal size. How many square patches will be required to cover each mat? Would both mats require an equal or different number of patches? Trace and cut out a small square of the size given here and find the area. Here we are given two pictures. In the first picture, we have a rectangle. One small square is placed at the corner. We are supposed to write down area of the rectangle in the blank space provided. We are also required to write down perimeter in the space provided. Likewise, we have another picture B of a square in which a small square has been placed at one of its ends, and we are required to calculate the area in the blank space provided. We are also required to find out the perimeter and write down in the blank space provided. Trisha makes these two rectangles. She says, I increased the area of my rectangle and the perimeter increased. Do you think this is always true? Here we have two pictures of rectangles with square patches. In the first one, we have 3 rows and 2 columns. In the second one, we have 4 rows and 3 columns. Let us explore. Question number 1. Tick the shapes with the same area. Find the perimeters of these shapes. What do you notice? Discuss. In the picture here, we have a square grid of side length 1 centimeter, and in shape A, we have a rectangle with 2 rows and 6 columns covered, and they are made green in color. We also have another picture in B. We have 2 columns and 5 rows colored green, and 2 green squares are also colored, but they are shifted to one square to the left. Page number 148. Here in the same square grid of side length 1 centimeter, in figure C, we have a rectangle which is made by shading green in 4 rows and 3 columns. In figure D, we have another rectangle which is made up of 3 rows and 4 columns, and the squares are colored green. In figure E, we have a row covering 8 columns. And in figure F, we have one row and 12 columns. So, 12 squares are colored to form this rectangle. Question number 2. Tick the shapes with the same perimeter. Find the areas of these shapes. What do you notice? Discuss. Here we have 5 different shapes, and they are made up of 7 squares which are arranged in different pattern. You need to calculate their perimeters and tick the shapes which have the same perimeter. Page number 149. Let us do. Draw different shapes having the same area as the given shape. Write the perimeter of each shape. What do you notice? Discuss. Here, on a square grid, we are provided with a shape of a rectangle which is made up of 2 rows and 9 columns, and it is colored green. You are required to make different shapes having the same area as the given shape and also write down the perimeters of each shape. Page number 150. Question number 2. Is the area of shape A less than the area of shape B given here? Discuss. Here we have a square grid in which in A shape we have square of 3 by 3 grid colored blue in color, and we also have a shape of a triangle in which the base has 6 squares, and the girl says, what are other ways of finding area? Preeta and Adrit's grandmother is making another square patchwork. She arranges the patches as given here. Can you guess how many patches she will need? How did you find it? We have a square grid in which we have 6 squares colored as red in a column and 4 squares colored as red in a row. Picture of a girl is here, which is saying we don't need to count them all. Look, there are 6 rows of 4 patches each. That is 6 into 4 is equal to 24 patches. Did you notice that 6 is the length of one side and 4 is the length of the non-equal side of the rectangle? Go back to the previous examples and check whether the product of the length and the breadth of the rectangles is the same as the area you had calculated by counting. Area of rectangle is equal to length into breadth. Area of square patchwork is equal to 6 centimeters into 4 centimeters, that is equal to 24 square centimeters. On this page, we find picture of Preeta and Adrit with their grandmother. They are preparing a square patchwork. Page number 151. Similarly, we can also find the perimeter of the rectangular shape. Perimeter is equal to length plus breadth is equal to 2 into length plus 2 into breadth. We can notice picture of a girl here. She says the lengths of the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. What will happen if all the sides of a rectangle are equal? That is the case of square. Here we are provided with 2 pictures. First one is of a rectangle having length 6 centimeters and breadth 4 centimeters. We also have a picture of a square having each side length of 5 centimeters. Let us think about a square whose sides are 5 units long. Area of square is equal to length into length. Area is equal to 5 into 5, that is equal to 25 square centimeters. Perimeter of square is equal to length plus length plus length plus length, that is equal to 4 into length, that is equal to 4 into 5, that is equal to 20 centimeters. Let us do. Question number 1. Find the area of your classroom floor in square meters. Take the help of your teacher to measure the length and breadth of the floor. What is the perimeter of the classroom floor? Note for teachers. Instead of counting each square, see that rectangles can be tiled by a row-column arrangement of unit squares. To find the area, they can simply multiply the number of rows by number of columns. This will also build an understanding of area as a model for multiplication. Page number 152. Question number 2. Find the area and perimeter of the following shapes. We have 5 different shapes here. The first shape A is of a square covering 6 by 6 grid. You are supposed to find out the area and perimeter of this shape. We have another shape B, which is made up of 4 rows and 7 columns. It is a shape of a rectangle. We are expected to find out the area and perimeter of the following shape. Figure C is another rectangle made up of 12 by 4 dimensions. That is, 4 rows and 12 columns are making this rectangle. In figure D, we have a square covering 3 by 3 dimension. That is, length and breadth both are equal to 3 centimeters. In figure E, we have a rectangle with dimensions 6 and 5. That is, we have 5 rows and 6 columns. You are expected to find out the area and perimeter of all the above shapes. Page number 153. Question number 3. Find the area and perimeter of the following objects. Use a scale or measuring tape to find the length and the breadth of each of the objects. Here we are provided with a tabular column in which we have 4 different columns. First column reads the serial number. Second column is for the name of the objects. Third column is for area. And fourth is for perimeter. First serial number has name of the object as cover of the notebook. You are supposed to fill up the blank by finding area and perimeter. Second, newspaper. Here also you need to calculate the area and perimeter and write down the space provided. Third is blackboard. You are expected to calculate the area and perimeter and write down in the space provided. Fourth is for Ludo board. Calculate the area and perimeter and write down in the respective columns in the blank space provided. You are also provided 2 more rows to write down the name of objects of your choice and calculate their respective areas and perimeters and write down in the blank spaces provided. Question number 4. Find the area of a rectangular field whose length is 42 meters and breadth is 34 meters. Question number 5. The area of a rectangular garden is 64 square meter and its length is 16 meter. What is its breadth? Question number 6. Find the area of the following figure with the dimensions as marked in the figure. We have a figure of a rectangle with dimensions 32 centimeters as length and breadth as 18 centimeters with 6 centimeters and 12 centimeters marked at different places. Page number 154. Let us play. First, take some square tiles and a die and play the game in pairs. We have picture of some tiles and one die In the second point, we have the next step, roll the die and pick the number of tiles equal to the dots on the die. Arrange them to make a shape or figure. In this, the die is rolled and the number on the face is visible as 4. So, 4 tiles are placed next to each other without any gap. In the third step, find the perimeter of the tiles. Here, because each side is of 1 centimeter, the perimeter can be calculated by adding the sides as 1 plus 1 plus 1 and so on. In step 4, do not move the tiles. The second player can take turn and add tiles to the same tiled figure. This time, on rolling the dice, we get 1 on the face, which is seen here. We can place the tile and calculate the perimeter. In step 5, take turns and add tiles to the same figure till the perimeter becomes 24. This time, when the die is rolled, number 6 appears and 6 more tiles are added to the previous shape and the perimeter is to be calculated. The one who makes the perimeter 24 wins the game. Chapter 11 ends here.
Maths Mela. You were just listening to this audiobook, Textbook of Mathematics for Grade 5. Narration Swarnlata Sharma. Sound recordist Virendra Rawat. Production assistant Soumya Malik. Directed and produced by Vimlesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.